there. We're going to talk a little bit about the Kabbalistic tree today, okay? A lot of times it's called the Tree of Life. Usually that's what you hear. Madeleine Montalban, that illustrious teacher of angelic magic, disagrees with that. She says that the common tree that we use now is actually the Tree of Knowledge, and that the Tree of Life is one that predated that, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that later. But regardless of what you call it, we're going to call it the tree, the Kabbalistic tree, or the magic tree. All right, so the thing about the Kabbalah is that it was scribed, like many things, by the followers of the Hebraic faith, of ancient Hebraic faith, which is now the Jewish religion. It was a tribal nomadic people, and they were, we are very grateful that happened, but where it came from is not really known. There's conjecture, but it did not, I don't think most of the scholars don't think that it actually originated with that culture. They appropriated it like they did a lot of things, like they did the angelic lore, like they did the Psalms, and if it weren't for them, we wouldn't have those things today. So we are extremely indebted to those people. However, just like anything, the people who write it down claim it. So it's got all of their religion, all of their tribal god, their customs, their laws, all that stuff is all bound up with a lot of these things because they were the ones who used it. They were the ones who wrote it down. So it's important for us to remember that and to be able to separate religiosity from practical use. All right, so, sorry for my squeaky chair. So, anyway, what we want to do, so there's, because of the antiquity of the Kabbalah, it's been used by so many different cultures, and it's sort of like the Psalms. It's been used by so many different practitioners that it's gained a lot of power in the Akashic records, and you can tell sometimes, not always, but sometimes by the way someone spells the word Kabbalah, their orientation. For instance, the Kabbalah with a K is sort of the catch-all, and that's usually, oftentimes that's more the traditional Kabbalistic teachings, or the so-called traditional Kabbalistic teachings, the more the Jewish Hebraic Kabbalistic teachings. Not always. Again, there's not a hard, fast rule. The people that spell it with a C is often the Christian Kabbalah, the Christian interpretation of the Kabbalah, and then people that spell it with a Q is often the magical Kabbalah, or the Kabbalah of the Western esoteric tradition, magical traditions. So, just FYI, but that's not a hard and fast rule. So don't think that it's always going to be that way. All right, so what I would recommend is that you draw your own tree of life. So I'm going to show you, it's not a hard thing. I am not an artist. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I'm just using a little lid off of a vitamin bottle or pill bottle. Actually, I think this is antihistamine. And we're just going to draw these spheres. Now, a sphere in the Hebrew Kabbalah, they're called a sephirot. Singular, a sephirah, and I'm just eyeballing this, so if it's not perfect, it's okay. We call them fruits. They're fruits on the tree of life. They're fruits. The Kabbalah, the tree, is just a map of how God individualizes itself, how creation occurs, in this world anyway. Because we end with this world at the bottom. I'm not doing this quite in order, just I'm doing it this way because it makes it easier for me to keep it somewhat symmetrical. So I kind of went out of order just to keep it symmetrical. But it's really not that hard. people that like to make things hard, they're the same ones that like to make astrology hard and math hard and music theory hard, because a lot of times they're just that way. It's just their nature. But a lot of them also just love to make everybody else feel just a little bit inferior. So they try to make everything sound really, really hard, so they sound like the smart person in the room and the rest of us sound like idiots. So, but we're not. We just, not everybody likes to make everything complex. Keep everything simple, including this. Okay, so this here is a placeholder. This is called da'at. It's not an actual fruit. It's a place where there's fruit, and I'll talk about that later. All right, so let's start by coloring these. This one is white, and since this paper isn't really white, I'm going to go ahead and color this in white a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to just deal with the spheres in their English names first. I don't think this will be good. So this one is called crown. Ooh. All right. This one is called wisdom. This one is called understanding. This one is called mercy. This one is called justice. This one is called beauty. There's no C in beauty there, Ariel. All right. This one is called victory. This one is called glory or splendor. This one is called foundation. There is an N in foundation. Art gum is our friend. That's why I like to work in pencil. And this one is called kingdom. All right, so the angels are here. This is Cassiel. This one is Sakiel, Jupiter. This one here is Mars. This is Samael. This one here is the sun, Mikael. So a lot of times people say this is yellow. I say gold or orange, and then this is pale yellow, but this is oftentimes transposed, so don't worry about it. This one is Mercury, and that is Raphael. What did I do? What did I do? I tried to talk and write at the same time, and I got all messed up, didn't I? Didn't I? Okay. Here's Mercury. He is Raphael. Okay, this one is the moon. Uh-oh. I'm going to have to do him over here because I didn't leave myself enough room. This is Gabriel. All right. All right, so there we go. Now you can see how helpful this is, because look at this. This is also a numbering system. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I forgot Anael. Poor thing. Sorry about that, Anael. Venus. She's over here. Anael. She's 7, 8, 9, and 10. So you're going to see how easy that is to understand that, Kasael, Saturn, number 3, he's understanding. Sakael, Jupiter, number 4, mercy. Samael, Mars, justice, number 5. Mikhail, the sun, beauty, number 6, etc. So this is very helpful when you start to do things like talismans and incenses and whatever else that you're working magically, because then you know the number of each angel, the Kabbalistic number. And there's many different ways to do numberings in the Tree of Life. We're just using a base 10 system, keeping everything simple and streamlined. So for us, Kasael's number is 3, Sakael's number is 4, Samael's number is 5, Mikhail's number is 6, etc., etc. Now the angels for the kingdom and for the crown and for wisdom will come later. We're not going to talk about those. We're just dealing with the 7 archangels of the days of the week. Now, we also work with Ariel in the system, and I'll show you how he shows up on the tree. There's paths that connect the tree to each other, but we'll talk about those in a different day. Those are like branches. But when wisdom comes from the above to below, it comes in the form of a lightning bolt, like this. And that is Ariel. That's Ariel. So that's where Ariel sits on the tree. This here is called Da'at, but we call it knowledge. Except for I misspelled knowledge. Because that's like, the ultimate in, here we go. Irony. Misspelling knowledge. Okay, so, now, this is a theoretical sphere, and there's a lot of different ideas about why that is. The legend and the tradition that I understand is that this kingdom, so this is how God manifests itself, right? There's veils that we'll talk about at another time that are like basic pure potential, limitless light, pure nothingness, out of which comes an emanation. The first one is this crown. It spills over into wisdom, spills over into understanding, spills over into mercy, spills over to justice, spills over to beauty, spills over to victory, spills over to glory, spills over to foundation, and then spills down into manifestation in the kingdom. And that's just the flow of creation. Now, it is said that this, even though they call it the Tree of Life, is technically the Tree of Knowledge, because this has been, if you're looking purely from the biblical myth, which reflects many other myths about the fall from grace, it's simply talking about our separation from our source. Now, when we decided we wanted to be separate from our source, what we did is we fell into this density that we have here. We were supposed to be, the legend states that we were supposed to be in bodies that were immortal, that were not subject to death. But once we decided to separate ourselves from God, we fell into this density that became the cycle of life and birth and death, I should say. Okay, so what that means is that this sphere, this da'at, which everybody talks about when you cross it, when you climb the tree back up, basically you're trying to progress back up the tree, it's very difficult to get up into these supernal 3 Sephirot, because you have to cross this abyss, which is this here. Well, that's true, but the reason why that is because our true home is here. This was, for you using biblical mythological terminology, this is where Eden is. This is where we were before we fell, because when we fell from here to there. So when we get through all of our evolution, getting back and relearning everything that we forgot, we will lift ourselves back up from here and go back home to there, which is where we truly belong. And according to ancient understanding, we really are still there. It's just that we are in a dream that we're here. Okay, so that's getting us started on our path to understanding the Kabbalah. So make your own tree. It's just 10 little spheres plus this little pretend sphere. It's not pretend. It's the hidden sphere, I should say. And then we've got, you know, the numbers from 1 to 10. You're not going to number the knowledge sphere or the da'at sphere, and then place the 7 angelic and the planetary angels and planetary symbols on here, and then start with just the English naming of each of these fruits. We will get to the Hebrew, but it's better if you learn in English and then translate. If you try to learn in Hebrew and translate to English, then you're really going bass backwards. You'll get there so much faster if you do everything in your own language and then learn the other language and then the other characters. Okay. All right. I hope this was interesting. Talk to you soon. Blessed be.